live stream during the week. I only push out to Twitch. So anyway, just wait for YouTube to catch up. So it's a little bit behind. There we go. So hello and welcome to Savvy Gadget's channel with me, Ian, otherwise known as Ven. And it is Boxing Day, the 26th of December, 2021. And I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you got lots of nice presents. I hope you had a decent Christmas meal. And I hope you're looking forward to the new year of 2022. So don't forget, like, subscribe, share my videos, follow me on YouTube, Twitch, check out the Facebook and Twitter feeds for Savvy Gadgetz, and donate at Patreon. And welcome to the live stream on Boxing Day. We're here for a couple of hours. If you get on the chat, don't forget to say hi. And let's click start and kick off. Right, so I have been a little bit busy over the days. I've been working a bit on my carpentry, not a great deal. Obviously I've been working on foraging, and as per usual I will go through and talk about the different trades that I'm trying to build up, and I'm working more on this sort of like crafting area to do with mechanics. I haven't even started tailoring. Now tailoring, you actually get experience for ripping up clothes, which is quite interesting, but I don't see how useful that is at the moment. But cooking and carpentry are the main focus here, and obviously foraging, because you can see those are the things that I've been doing the most. Thankfully I've got a nice big can of Red Bull to keep me going. I was supposed to drink it yesterday, completely forgot about it. It was in the fridge. I was like, yeah, I'll use it for the live stream. So I am in no way sponsored or endorsed by Red Bull, but I sponsor them because I drink their products and I love them. I love Red Bull. It's probably really bad for me, but I don't care. Anyway, so foraging has changed. I demonstrated that last week. I've also got a video out there that's doing really well, actually. I'm getting quite a lot of hits on my foraging video. I'm going to try and concentrate a bit more on cooking today. Cooking is your path to happiness. If you forage and trap and fish and turn all of that into some nice food, it's one of the easiest and best ways to try and combat, boredom and depression. And one of the problems that I've had throughout this live playthrough with this particular character and my other characters is they're always getting depressed. And I've always used antidepressants to get them away from that. But cooking has the same effect, but it depends on what you cook. If you cook a nice meal, then it generally helps with unhappiness. If you collect mushrooms and berries from foraging, then that gives you is, if you create a salad from the berries, that cures your hunger and your thirst, but it doesn't actually make you happy. Whereas if you collect mushrooms and you create a salad from them, then you get happiness from it. I think that's a bit of an odd one myself. And obviously, if you add salt or pepper as a spice, that increases the overall happiness and mood of your character. So, as you can see, I've always got an empty bowl with me, and I've always got some kind of knife, hunting knife, kitchen knife, machete at a pinch. So, the first thing is I've actually finally organised my bookshelves. Actually built a second bookshelf. So in one I've got all of the books and the magazines for the food related things like cooking, fishing, trapping and foraging and farming, because I haven't even started farming yet. That's something else that we're going to be looking into. Hello, welcome to Savvy Gadgetz. Thank you for joining us on the chat. So anyway, like I was saying, in here we've got like the Angler magazines, and the magazines are important because they give you crafting recipes. So Angling magazines 1 and 2 give you make fishing rod and fix fishing rod, and make fishing nets and getting fishing nets back. Whereas if you go to the Hunter magazines, I'm actually missing volume 1, which gives me the basic traps with sort of like the string traps. But 2 gives you cage traps and stick traps, which is what I'm using to catch birds. You can always use a basic trap a basic mouse trap. You'll catch rats and mice in that. That will give you game meat, and then you can make trap boxes. We might actually have a go at that today. See if we can trap something in a box. It's something that I've never actually managed to achieve, but we can go for that. Herbalist is herbal remedies, poultices, that kind of thing. Farming magazine is to make cures, so mildew cure and flies cure, which I suspect uses poison berries. Then good cooking magazines is to make cake batter and pie dough and bread dough. So we're going to try and concentrate on cooking, but we're also going to have a look at mechanics. I'm trying to build up my mechanics as well. Obviously I'll be demonstrating the new foraging system. So with the other ones, if you're trying to do mechanics, then you need 3 books or 3 magazines, and these are the Lane's Auto Manuals. There's a commercial, performance and standard models, and depending on what you're able to do depends on which one of these you've read. So it's always worth keeping your eye out for them when you're first starting out, just to make sure that if mechanics is something that you're going to go down the route of, that you find these magazines. You obviously generators are here, and then you've got electronics volumes 1 to 3, engineer magazine. I've only found 1 engineer magazine. That's terrible. Make a smoke bomb. Pretty sure I can find more than that at some point. And then metalwork. So I'm not particularly working on metalwork at the moment, but it's going to be useful for me at a later date, purely because metalwork depends on whether you can pick up a stove from another place. Now you can actually dismantle if you've got a blowtorch and a welding mask. Again, the basic tools of each trade. So you've got knives for butchering, for cooking, and you've got a screwdriver, lug wrench and a jack and a tyre pump for cars and mechanics. Then for fishing, it's fishing rods. Keep your eyes out for fishing rods or twine, paper clips. You can use nails as a hook, but then beyond that you need saws and hammers and that sort of thing. Hey Super Tone Man, hope you had a good Christmas. Welcome to Boxing Day. Hope you had got some good presents, everybody. Just talking through the basics of stuff, but electronics you need screwdrivers, and that's about it really, I think, for electronics. So you need wood. You actually need glue if you want to craft some stuff with electronics. You need glue. So these are the traps here. These are just basic mouse traps. They sometimes we've had discussions before what the best bait is. Chocolate works well, cheese works well, berries don't. And then if you've got a compost heap out the front, like I have, I'm just going to grab a drink, because I've actually plumbed in, even though the water ran out a long time ago for this character. Last week I demonstrated how to plumb in water for the sink, and I'll just show you that in a minute, because that's really quite important. I've got some filleted stuff there. I've got some wild broccoli. But I've actually got some fresh cooked roasts here, and let's spot the difference. Need to tear some stuff out. Storage. That's what it is. It's all storage. So if we take a look at these meals, they actually cure unhappiness. So I've got cures. So it decreases my hunger by 46. Doesn't decrease my thirst. Yeah, but it doesn't decrease my unhappiness, which is really important. Same with this one, but it's different levels. It depends on how much food you add, because you can, just because you create a single meal, you can actually increase what goes into it if you've got the ingredients. So you can continue right click until it's full. You say add a random fish, add a random meat, add a random vegetable, and it all increases the nutritional value of the meal and the happiness value of the meal. So we're going to eat all of that one. We've got a fresh mushy here. So the character's getting bored now. I'm waffling on too much, that's the problem. It's telling me to shut up and get on with it. Right, so the sink is actually plumbed into a water barrel, or basically, through the carpentry skills, it's a rain collector barrel, and it's not the square one. It's not very good. It doesn't Doesn't contain a lot of water. But in order to get that, because this is a single-story building, I needed a level 6 in carpentry to build some stairs. Here are my stairs. Up the side of my building, and then I built a platform, and on top of the platform are my rain collector barrels, and then using a pipe wrench, and it had to be a pipe wrench. Previously you could use any wrench, but it had to be a pipe wrench, and then using it on the sink I could plumb it in, and that's where I'm getting my water from. So I have clean, fresh water. And even though it rains, and if I take water from those water butts, they're tainted. From the tap, it's actually pure drinking water. So, mechanics. Let's start with some mechanics, then we'll move on to foraging. So, up to a vehicle, need a screwdriver in inventory. At the very least, to do the very basics of mechanics, you need to have read those magazines. As you can see, this truck's doing really well. This is my experimentation truck. So, at the very first levels, you can do things like take and uninstall the radio. And this is the really boring part, I guess, because you just installed it again, and that gives you a very, very tiny amount of mechanics. So, we're on 48.75. So, let's uninstall the battery. And then put the battery back in, because that's as much as I can really do safely. Now I could do other things, you know, I can uninstall the tyres and I can put them back on and this, that, and the other, but then I'm likely to damage them more. So radio, battery, and then you can go around and do the headlights and the tail lights. You can do metalwork on the cars as well. You can repair the panelling with metal sheets and that kind of thing if you really wanted to. I don't particularly care. It's a 6 light bulb, that's the 7 light bulb, that's the other 7, then that's the 1. There we go. So there we go. Right, so from all of that, and then if you do that as part of a daily routine, it soon builds up. So I'm now on 56, so from 48 56. Right, so let's do a quick demonstration of how the foraging works. So the foraging system has changed. Now previously the foraging system, you right click the floor and you got the option to forage. That's not how it works anymore. You've now got some nice new icons on left hand, one of which is the map. It's an idea. I'm actually thinking of going collecting some other vehicles from the other side of town, because once you've got your electronic skills up and your mechanical skills up, and they're not very high either, you can go and hotwire cars. You don't need the keys anymore, which is really useful. Just a quick drink. So the foraging system has changed, and you now have this lovely investigate area icon. Now, foraging didn't work particularly well in the towns. It was pretty useless in towns. That has also now changed. It actually has a far greater use in town. You can now find, and whilst I was doing my video that I posted a week or so ago, I found dead rats, dead birds, and dead squirrels, and I could turn them with a knife all into usable meat, which can then be cooked and eaten, and again alleviates unhappiness. So you've got this investigate area off of the icon, and you enable the search mode like that, or you can use the end key on your keyboard, and you can see that if we just come in, there's now like a blurred area and like a circle of focus. Now as you walk around, they seem to have added some really eerie sounds. So as you walk around, if you take a look at the thing here, you hover over it, it says the type of things that you'll find. Materials are very common, food's common, animals are common, others are rare, medicinal plants are rare, and depending on where you are will depend on what's in there. Now, if that is a set of question marks, you won't find anything. Foraging is also affected by your mood, the light, and what was it? There's the food, the light, and the weather. So if it's dark, raining, and you're miserable and upset and hurt and injured and stressed out, you're not going to find anything. But I did actually find some wire in the middle of the night. I actually posted that on Twitch. So, right. So why am I sort of overburdened? I've got a tie pump on me, and the roasting pan can go back in there as well. That should help with that. Got some water to drink, which came from my tap. Can hear the dogs whining and all sorts of them. Right, so back to foraging. Now, the other point of doing this, trying to do foraging at night, why it doesn't really work, is because of this focused area, you're less likely to see zombies coming. During the day, you can. Right, so, as you're walking around, you get that icon above your head, and then you get the option to click on these berries and put them in a container, or you can just double click them and they go straight into your main inventory. So what we just picked up was some fresh berries. You might not be picking up fresh berries, you might be picking up poisonous berries, so make sure that you check. Let's take a quick look up here. As you can see, it's still a vegetation area. There is an area down here where it changes into forest, and you're far more likely to find materials like wood and that kind of thing. Whilst I'm out here, I'm going to check on my traps, my birdie traps. These sticky traps here. Nothing in them. They don't look. You know when there's something in them because they look like they've collapsed. I might have to put some worms in and go back and find some worms. But you do find all sorts of interesting things foraging now. I have found a propane torch last week. I found a gas can, and I found some wire. It's really, really quite odd. So as you can see, the investigate area has changed. I'm now in a forest area. Materials are abundant. Food is still common. Animals are rare. And although medicinal plants are still rare, other things are extremely rare now. So I'm more interested in food. So I'm just going to move away from the forest area back into the vegetation areas and sort of like do a quick sweep around here. Because the next thing I want to do is do some fishing. Alright, so there's the eye icon, and we found some twigs. If we want to use the twigs to light fires, we can, but I'm just going to discard them because I don't want them, I don't care. I've got loads of wood kicking around. Now, sometimes you get really lucky and you get like 3 or 4 items in a small area. Oh, right, interestingly enough, something new that's cropped up as part of the foraging I've been getting on the odd occasion. I find broccoli and carrots, and they're called seedling broccolis and seedling carrots, and that's what they do. They actually give you some seeds, and that never used to happen. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's miles away. That wasn't even in the circle of influence, and that's a log. Discard that. I don't want the log. But yeah, farming is something that I'm gonna need to look into at some point. Just to keep my food up. Although I'm not exactly struggling for food, to be fair. Even though foraging has changed and you still get less of it, I'm still surviving enough. Although I really get annoyed when I find twigs. The old foraging system, you used to be able to say, hey, I just want to find food, and that's all you would find. Scavenging an area, but your character would stay on the spot. What have we got here? Ah! More berries. These ones have gone straight into mine because I've double clicked them and they're fresh. That's good. There's a berry there. I'm just going to eat that. And berries are quite useful because they actually reduce hunger and thirst because they're juicy. And as you can see, I'm doing rather well for foraging. You get experience for picking up or discarding items. It doesn't matter. Something that I've noticed, I seem to be very devoid of zombies in this area. I don't know whether it's a case of I've finally managed to kill them off enough. Oh, those are logs. Discard the logs. There's one of my old crafted spears which got broken. Fighting Z's, of course. Oh, I'm back in a forest area. Seem to be devoid of mushies, says Ian. Oh, berries. As in a container bag, and I've now got. I am doing really well for berries today. Normally I can't find them for love nor money. Right, what we got here? More berries. That's obviously the day for berries. I actually really do want mushrooms. What we found? Where is it? There it is. It's a worm. I can go put that in my sticky. 2 worms. I can put those in my stick traps. There we go. It's a stick. Not interested in sticks, but again, even for discarding it, I get plenty of experience. Now I do need to find a location where I can get a decent metal stove so I'm not cooking on the open fire outside. I'm pretty sure that affects nutrition. Like I say, I'm not finding mushrooms. And it is mushrooms that I'm really interested in, because mushrooms, if you've got game meat. Oh, cricket, there we go. That's good for fishing. Oh, and some twigs. Let's discard the twigs. I don't need the twigs. That was interesting. So I should now have in my inventory cricket, uncooked. More berries. I'm deeply suspicious of what's going on here, because up until today I haven't found that many berries, and now I'm finding loads. Might be something to do with... That's not the time of day. More berries? Well, yeah, okay. Let's see what we've got. I bet some of those are poisonous. And they're not. Weird. Okay, that is strange. Get some berries while I head back to my stick traps. Make sure they've actually got some bait in them. And a bit of luck, I might actually find some mushies. No more sticks. Bloody sticks. When I actually wanted to find them, I couldn't. Right, okay, so this is one of the other things. This is one of the other items, and I have found an empty beer can. Great. Don't want an empty beer can. I want a full beer can. It's just so unfair, taunting me with beer when there's none around. All right, so the oh, I can add a cricket. Other than worms, let's go with worms. Actually, I'll add the cricket to this one. Hopefully it won't hop off. Disappointed on the mushroom front, has to be said. Let's head over to the lake. Alright, let's see if we can spearfish something. Cut my backpack, there we go. Let's go, okay, right. Let's ramp it up a little bit. Oh, small sunfish. A little bait fish. Although food isn't actually a problem. I'm really just doing this to get a couple of small sunfish. Just keep my food levels up. Oh, I found some shoes, hooray. What would I do without them? I can't be far off of leveling fishing, you know, it's 209 out of 300. Oh, another one. Small pike, 53 centimetres. So I'm actually alright for food and drink, so big perch. Right, okay, so we're getting tired, we're getting hungry. So we'll eat our other roasting pan. This one alleviates a lot of happiness and a lot of food problemos. Because I've got a knife, I can fillet those. Can actually drink out of the river, but it doesn't make a great deal of sense. So head back to my base of operations, and let's see. Right, so we've got a couple of empty roasting pans here. We've got some fish, so let's slice and fillet the fish. So what we end up with is some nice fillets. Well, at least if I did, when I start planting crops, Stoneman, I've got the option of, I've got like a trowel, or I think I've got a hoe somewhere as well. I've got like the watering thingy as well, the spray cans. Plus I've got plenty of seed packets and seeds, so from those fish we've got plenty of fillets. We're just going to go and take a look at what we've got. Actually, like I say, we're doing really well for fish in general. Right, so we know sort of like these ones. I'm actually going to move those over. It's got plenty. I'm actually going to just cook those two as is. Have a drink as well. And it's always a good idea just to fill up any water bottles that have might have some out of them. Right, okay, so fresh uncooked fillets. Oh, I can't pick those up. Right, they're no longer fresh. Oh, it's hit the limit. Right, so let's go put those straight outside, because otherwise they'll be used in there. So we'll put those straight in there, and then what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll create some more. Tasty food. So cooking, as I said from the outset, is your path to happiness. So using roasting pans is quite useful, because you can create a roast from them, and you just right click on and you go add random fish, or you can pick any one of these fish that you like. And you don't actually have to just cook fish or meat. You can keep, I've got a generator, it's out the front. You can create a roast just out of vegetables. So create a roast from random fish. Now, so we've got two here, and they've got sort of low nutritional values. But I can add random fish. I can continue adding fish until it's full. Add fish. And that then creates a much heartier meal that is going to reduce your hunger over a much longer period of time. It's going to take you from being absolutely starving to really full. Add a random fish. There we go. You can see the nutritional content has gone right up. We can add some vegetables. That'll add some mushrooms into the mix. It actually changes the roast. I haven't run out of mushrooms, so it now says it's a fillet and mushroom roast. There we go. let's move over to the counters here, because with a bit of luck I've actually got some. I can add honey, I can add pepper as a spice. Again, this increases the amount of unhappiness that comes away from it. And is it that one? Let's just add a random condiment. Let's go with that. See what it does. Right, and then it's a case of bunging them on the fire and lighting the fire. Now these will take a while to cook, so you need quite a bit of firewood on the fire. But they should produce some really, really hearty meals for us. And that will stave away any depression. Now let's see, what can I light this with? That's over here, because I have lots of twigs. Well, you would, you know, but apparently it's not enough. Apparently it has to be a decent meal. Now what you can do is you can actually right click and look at the campfire info, and it actually tells you you've got enough fuel for 10 hours. Because I've been out scavenging lots of things. What it was, it's a case of there was a fence around a field up, which is where I managed to get most of my carpentry skill from, just dismantling the fence. It was really boring doing that, but it gave me a load of planks to actually create my stairs and my platform and my raincash barrels, and sometimes it produces scrap wood, and that's what's on the fire. Oh look, I can see one of my raincatcher barrels has dropped down. I was maybe wondering if I made 3 count raincatcher barrels and plumbed them in, it actually brought from all 3 of them, or it's brought from one. Looks like it's just come from one, and I now know which one it's coming from. So when I get my skill level up in carpentry, I can change that out for a bigger barrel. So keeping an eye on our food, they're already cooked. I've dropped down these bits there, just over halfway. Ah, that's interesting, it actually says what it contains. It contains fish, mushrooms and honey by the looks of it. And that one contains spices. Nice. Yeah. And for that I will need metalwork skills and the blowtorch and the welding mask to actually uninstall it. To actually build up my metalwork is I went to one of the houses and I dismantled the fridge and the cooker, and that gave me some experience in metalwork. Like I said, what you can also do is like repair the panels on cars with metal panels if you've got them, which I don't think I do. It's not something I've been actually collecting. So I do actually have a working barbecue out the back, so I could use that, but I'm awkward, so building the most basic fires out of a few sticks and some few stones, which you get from foraging, is a damn sight easier and more, let's say, it's easier to come across. So what we'll do is actually pause it there and have a quick look at the map, because as always I've got the PZ map open, and so this is Rosewood, this is where we are. Now I actually made a base out of the fire station, out of the fire department, and that worked really well for me at the time, because you can actually hop over the back fence. You have access to all these houses then. Now one of the interesting points here is if you take a look at this house here, you can see it's already got a decent fence around it, and it's also got some farming plots and a shed, which is even more useful. These houses were quite out of the way. They could be useful as bases, that one more so I think. But we actually came out of Rosewood, came past the construction site, and we're actually here by this lake. So well, this is the building we're currently in, and my cars are here. So there is, I think, not too far away, I don't think. Or maybe I'm just lying to myself. And I did say I'd go and visit the penitentiary at one point. You can take the tank off the barbecue out back and have propane for a torch, yeah. Ah, yeah. So right, so this is the fence. This is the fence that I basically took down to build up my carpentry skill. That practically got me from level 4 to level 6. But I'm not seeing any cabins. So usually there's cabins around and they've got like one of these. Oh, that's quite fuzzy. Like metal stoves in them. That's an electric stove. See, that's the one. That's another thing that annoys me about PZ, is that there are no solar panels or wind turbines. But yeah, well, that's not a. So we need to find. I'll have a look around, but I'm not seeing anything immediately apparent. There are cabins in the woods. Now, when I did a playthrough quite a few years ago, I think it was in 2017, I actually ended up over here. And I built quite a nice base here, fishing, water, some houses over here. But it was like this, and it's one of these types of stoves that I'm looking for. Now, originally you could just pick it up and move it like any other item, but now you actually have to have a propane torch and a welding mask to do it. Now that's a little bit far away. I mean, that's pretty much the other side of the map. What's that? Ah, there we go. Getting to that could be a bit of a swan. There's another one. Again, they're so far away, aren't they? That's the nearest one, I think. The Lone Forest Shack. It's over here. That's a barn. Yeah. I mean, they weren't really... When this game was released in 2013, solar panels weren't that common. And I'm sure there's a solar panel mod. But yeah, I think that's the nearest. Do you really want to be alone in the woods right now? No, don't really. But I think that's the nearest and the only place local. Don't fancy my chances, let's face it. Doesn't seem to be anything out this way, which is a bit of a surprise, I suppose. Because the thing is once you've got the stove in your hands, you can't fight any zombies. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's not named on the map exactly. Looks like an office building. Minuscule storage. This must be the electricity plant. Looking at that, I bet those are supposed to be the generators and that. Anyway, as they say, anywho, yeah, I need to find myself a stove. That might be a thing. Oh, really? Okay. Not really into that. I suppose tearing them off somebody else's roof is a thing. But, yeah. So, yeah, that is a definitive plan. It's the construction site. There's no stoves in there. That's all sort of like port cabins and that. But there is a barbecue, which probably has a bottle in it, can always steal the bottle. That's always good. That's not too far away. I could probably even walk that. Now I have, from my hovel here, I've actually walked back here and collected the cars because I stashed them all here in the car park. So that's only a 5-minute walk. You can do that. But back to the game. So it's getting late at night. We've got some fish. We have some really nice meals. Hunger -57, and unhappiness. There you go. Lots of nutrition in that one. That's good. Lots of nutrition in that one. That one is. Is that one increasing my boredom? +10, +10. And that one's +8. Unhappiness, +8. Fish and spices. Obviously, I didn't have enough mushrooms into it. Because it's the mushrooms that sort of take away the boredom, I guess. But despite that, the other way to take away boredom is to have something to entertain yourself with. Magazines, comics, that kind of thing. Alright, let's go get some drinks. So there's my generator. And it is wired in. It's in good condition, I just haven't got any fuel for it. I could always siphon it out the back of the cars, but again, let's drink. If I hover over it. Does it give me any information? Because it does have a really nasty habit of not raining. When you really want it to rain, there is no rain. That's just to fill your bits and pieces up. Right, so I'm just going to take a look in here for some chocolat. Chocolate, grab one. Goes in the main inventory. And then, oh, the rotten rodents, they've had all of my chocolate. Because that was something I spent a lot of time doing, is hunting down Chocky. Okay, what else have we got in here that I don't need? Like a pair of shoes. There we go, don't need shoes. Right, so got lots of frilly pants though. So I've got a value ported disc, I've got some earbuds, I've got a CD to play. You can always use radios, assuming they're actually still playing channels to help you relieve boredom. But cooking is your path to happiness and to keeping you happy. If you have a bowl and you have some mushrooms, then that just creates a cheerful meal. It really does. Right. But then it's always useful to have some antidepressants kicking around. What next? Alright, so very tired, very bored. So eat a berry. The bird traps, yeah. Let's go check those out. Quickly, I'm going to try using a box trap. I'm going to build one. It's always worth checking your traps at sort of like duskish, dawnish. No. No, nothing. Right, so box trap. Let's go with that. Got no idea what to put in that. This would be, I guess the box trap would be squirrels, wouldn't it? Trapper. There we go. Wooden cage trap. Let's craft 2. Which I imagine actually would help my carpentry. A little bit, not a lot. That's not too bad. Right, okay, let's go place them. So are we saying that the string traps would be squirrels then? I'll just put one there. And I will plant the other one further up. Typical, I don't have either of those. And cabbage is something that I've actually found foraging. Right. Try some farming tomorrow. Got plenty of seeds. We're actually, you know, surviving really well. Yeah, carrots. Sleep, sleep. Sleeping in today. They're usually up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Nothing in my traps. Not here anyway. Let's have a drink. Still got plenty of water though. Actually, hovering over the drink gives you a rundown of what you've got. Let's have a look. We've got food. Eat the fillets. It's going to make me really unhappy and really bored. There you go. Straight on with the miserable moodlet. It's like, gee, cheers, thanks. It's nothing alleviates boredom. It's the mushrooms that do, really. So you can add, if you add mushrooms to anything, it just somehow makes you cheerful, makes the meal cheerful. I don't know why. It's just a thing. Pretty sure if I only just made the roast with one amount of meat as well, otherwise it's just interesting how the game mechanics work to a larger degree. Right, so actually I've got some broccoli, and I'm going to try broccoli in one of them traps because there you go, seedling broccoli. Oh, it's gone rotten. Oh, bloody typical. Just when you need it, you think, yeah, I'll use that. Right, let's take a look at what seeds I found, because I'm pretty sure I found some carrot seeds. Carrot and cabbage. Yeah, it would be great if I had some. I did have some. Right. Let's not dig a furrow with my hands. Let's find the appropriate tool. Pretty sure I've picked up a trowel on my travels. Yeah, there we go. See? Oh, see, I am clever. Randomly picking up rubbish as I go around. Right, so let's dig some furrows. And there we go. Dig a furrow. There. Might get worms out of this as well. You can actually make seed beds, can't you? Out of wooden things, and I think you need a shovel for that. see what we can actually plant. Dig a few rows. Because like I said, I've got some watering cans and a spray can. Right, let's see. Sow seeds. I've got seeds. I've got cabbage seeds. Probably not enough. Cabbage, yes, you need 9 cabbage seeds. I've only got 7. I've only got 2 carrot seeds. But fear not, because in a previous adventure, I've got packets. Right, so I've got plenty of broccoli seeds, but what we will take is a single potato. Like that. We will also take a cabbage packet. There we go, like that. And have we got carrots? Yep, carrots. We'll take some carrots. Right. So there we go. What we'll do is we'll open. Move away from the box. Open packet of seeds. Open packet of carrot seeds. Open packet of potato seeds. In the meantime, we'll actually find some broccoli because it's a thing. Alright, sow some cabbages. Sow some carrots. Is that it for carrots? There we go. Oh, still got carrots. Got enough for another one. Then what we need to dig a furrow. We actually sort of stand over here. We stand a chance. So let's just go down the road then. Yep. If the worst comes to the worst, I will use a bucket. As Super Toe Man quite rightly says, once you've planted seeds, you need to water them in. Oh, I can make a lot of potatoes. Look, they only take 4 seeds. Let's just continue the furrow. Let's just keep going. Don't know how much of a good idea that is, considering it's right next to the road. And let's face it, my driving's not the best. Loads of potatoes, look at this. I think that'll do for the time being. Right, let's find a watering can. I know I've got one. There he is. That's good to know. Right, so let's not use. Let's go. Right cut to a barrel, fill, empty watering can. And I really ought to put one of those on the floor. Right, let's go down the road there. Water full. Then I really ought to go and find some food. And if the worst comes to the worst, what I can do is nip over to the lake and fill my watering can. Yeah, I'm definitely putting a rain catcher barrel down here. I've got the bags. Getting through this pretty quick. Speaking of drink, oh, the potatoes take a lot of water. It's empty. That's bad. Yeah. Well, that's the hope. But like I say, it's not the end of the world because I've actually got some water stashed. Clean water, that is, stashed. But then I have to keep an eye on these and keep them weeded, and I've actually got some fertiliser. I've only done a couple of them. Maybe there's a better way of doing that, just by like doing one plot a day, maybe. Hopefully I've got enough for one last round. Should still have plenty in there. Check. Alright, so there's a couple more that need to be done. Otherwise using it like a tap. It's like there's no tap there. The tap is a lie. Right. Water. Full, there we go. Right, so I've actually watered everything, haven't I? Drop the watering can. There we go. I'll use that later. Right, so I need to eat something, not a worm. Got 5 worms out of digging up the floor. Okay, they can go in there. Carrot seeds, cabbage seeds. I'll put those back in the thingy. Someone's shooting in general. Let's eat that one because that's the one that gives me the unhappiness that I don't want, but I'll take it anyway. And then we really ought to go and look for some mushrooms, because mushrooms are the thing. There we go. Right, so now I'm deeply unhappy. I'm creating 2 meals that makes me really unhappy, which is the opposite of what I wanted it to do. But it has filled me up, and you would think a full belly would be a very cheerful thing indeed. Yeah, that's just the thing. There just doesn't seem to be any around. But then that's one of the advantages of being rural. Up until this week, zombies have kind of been a problem and haven't kind of been a problem. If you see what I mean? Like I saw a few a while ago and killed those, and then I haven't seen any since. Not that I'm complaining, because it's like I really don't need the extra grief at the minute. It's bad enough, you know, generally trying to survive. But what have we got here? Twigs. Discard the twigs. Don't need twigs. Traps aren't triggered yet either. And I've still got bait. Or at least that one has. That one's got bait, so cool. So, we'll have a wander around here. Oh, there we've hit an area that's got like question marks on it, so that's no good. No dense forest. Back into vegetation. Now it is getting more and more difficult because as time's going on, I saw that. I saw that icon appear above my head. I'm very miserable though, so it's one of those cycles of you need food to help keep you happy, to help you, you know, find more food. If you don't find food, then you get unhappy. Or in my case, create food that makes you unhappy, which is even worse. Oh, there we go. What we got? Berries. I wonder if it's summertime. I can hear the crickets and that. I wonder if it's a case of you find mushrooms nearer winter and sort of like the autumn periods when it's cold. And now it's sort of springish, summerish time. That's quite interesting actually, because I don't actually remember it snowing. I know they did say they were putting seasons in. Oh, that's going to be a log, isn't it? Oh no, it's cockroach. Useful for fishing. Twigs, I hate twigs. What's that? More twigs. It's like I discarded them and found them again. Is that because... Oh, right, okay, because they've gone sort of like the reddish colour. Okay. And why am I finding mushrooms though? Like I say, every other day, it's like been mushrooms, 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 no berries. Then all of a sudden, it's like... I'm just finding loads of berries. I have found some grape leaves. Oh. Nothing here. Nothing to find here. Nothing to see. There's nothing to see. Move along. Twigs. God. I miss the old foraging system. I really do. More twigs. Give me some mushrooms, you swines. What? Pick up a high-end camera. Just laying around in the middle of a field. So seriously? Oh well, it does say other, and that's definitely one of the other. It's just odd that I'm not finding mushrooms now, and I'm just finding berries galore. Let's go check on my sticky traps. Oh, hello. I saw that. Stone. Can actually eat the grape leaves, they don't give you anything. They certainly don't cheer you up, that's for sure. See, this area is becoming a lot more tree-like, if you see what I mean. Gonna find anything here, so let's move along. It's one of those areas. Right, now we're back in an area where you can find things. Like I say, I'll actually miss a bit of combat. Be careful what you wish for though, so I'm likely to find like a horde of 100 or something daft like that. But then, like I say, one of the things with the new system is your moods, whether you're injured and you're hurt or you're miserable, that kind of thing, all take an effect on your foraging skill. Tired as well, that doesn't help. Oh, hello. Oh, cabbage seeds, are you serious? Ah, it's actually a cabbage as well. Right, I know where that's going. Put me forage on around here because you can actually find stuff close to your house. As long as you've got the, you know, a vegetation or a forest area, we should find something. But let's see if we can catch ourselves some chipped stone. No. Add bait, cabbage, wild and fresh. That's what you want. Make a change to catch some rabbit because I've not caught rabbit before. Oh, so this trap has sprung, and you can see that it's sprung. If you compare this one, which looks like it's got like bait in it, and this one that doesn't, and you check the trap, and you get a dead mouse, which you can then butcher with a knife and turn into meat. Yeah, I now have some rodent meat, fresh uncooked. There we go. So I can add that to my meat pile. In the meantime, I've still got my meal there, so let's go roast pan. Let's create a roast from random game. See, that actually alleviates -5 unhappiness. So if I add random vegetables to it, cabbage roast, there we go. Oh, it's now -10. That's the sort of thing. So that's where the cooking can come in handy to alleviate your boredom and your unhappiness and stave away your depression. Let's see if I can do something with create a salad. I can't. Damn it. So maybe we can just add random fish, see if that improves things or ruins it. No, that's -15. Fantastic. There we go. So an interesting meal which we will then cook. What we'll do is we'll just add some spice, add pepper. And then it's -17, so there we go. That's the sort of thing that you're after. Cooking your path to happiness. And we need to put that on the fire, and then we can light the fire. What I'll actually do is I'll eat the other one. That one. Not the cockroach. I'm not eating the cockroach. Eating the bait fish is cooked to remove the happiness malice. There we go. Maybe I should cook the high-end camera. Just why do you find that in the middle of nowhere? It's just weird. So we now have that. So let's go do the other roasting pan. Right, so vicious cycle of life at the moment of creating food and eating it and then looking for it. Add a random fish, there we go. So it was just the fish. It's unhappiness -5. I don't understand why those other meals ended up with such a minus figure on them. Just seems odd. Add salt as a spice. There we go. Maybe it's because I added honey to it and that just made things worse. I don't know. Not short of fish, so that's. Well, it was a bad bit of fish. Who knows? See, now it's gone down. Maybe adding too much fish is the problem. I need to add something. Adding too much is a bad thing. Right, let's grab some twigs. So, I suppose I ought to start picking them up from now on, don't I? Light fire, twigs and light. Go get rid of the seeds. Seeds. There we go. There we go. Sit back, kick relaxed, enjoy the warmth of the fire. And try not to be miserable about it. Oh, it's a grape leaves. These grape leaves. Apart from staving off a little bit of hunger, can't eat them because I'm full, which is nice. Stuffed, in fact. Stomach contented. It's got to be a first. That's really difficult to achieve in this game. Because one of the negative traits I've got is underweight. But I didn't actually choose that as a starting thing. I just chose inconspicuous outdoorsman and fast reader, and those you can actually get with your start points. That came later, and I don't think you can get rid of it. At least I haven't found an ability to get rid of it. Let's just eat the grape leaves. Gotta cook the little fish as well. Doesn't take any time at all to cook the fish, or the little fish. Literally a couple of minutes. Throw it on the fire, on the barbie. No, what I haven't done today, I didn't do any of the mechanics. Fishy snacks, yeah. Wherever that's gone. Top picked out now. But even so, if I click on it, it still gives me a +2 unhappiness. It makes me unhappier by eating it. Might stave off of my hunger, but it makes me unhappy to do it, so I'm not going to eat it. I'm just going to bin it because it's just a little fish. It's not like I'm short of food. I've got plenty of berries and that at the minute, so. So yeah. The other one's in there somewhere. Yeah, there is fresh cooked. Cockroach goes down here. Trying to remain organised as I can. So I've only got a cricket and I've got a thing. So can't dismantle the high-end camera. No, I can't. Interesting. I thought I would be able to, although it's like, I have to remember. Next time I don't want one. It's got a screwdriver. Yeah, bung it on the floor. Along with all the other rubbish that I just seem to have collected. Right, must remember to do my mechanics tomorrow. And drink, because I forgot to have a drink. Oh, there we go. The rain has arrived finally. That's good, because it's usually at this point I have a drink, grab the soap, and wash myself and my clothes. Because I know the rain, I can use the water, I can fill up my barrel, I can fill up my water bottles, I can fill up my pots and in the fridge, so I know that I'm going to have plenty of water should it not rain. Can I wash all my clothing as well? Hello. Stop raining now, isn't it? Bloody typical. Oh well, at least it did rain. So hopefully that's filled up the others as well. Oh look, everything's well watered. That's handy. It's raining again. Great. Healthy. Okay, fine. All looks good. Right, so let's do some mechanics. Out the radio. Because if you keep doing it on the same car, you can't just take the radio out, put the radio in, take the radio out, put the radio in, and expect it to go up. It doesn't quite work that way. If you keep doing it on the same car, it stops working. It stops giving you experience. So far to go on mechanics. It's ridiculous. The overall condition of this car is knackered, and that's about the strength of it. Right, I'm going to do the same thing on this car over here, because then it's a case of I've done one commercial, one whatever that is. So I don't think that's commercial. It's not a performance vehicle. I'm not entirely sure what a performance vehicle actually looks like in this game. Going to have to look into that. What actually constitutes a performance vehicle, a standard vehicle? Obviously, commercial vehicles are really easy to spot. What was that I just uninstalled? Was that the battery? Oh, let's do it again. Solid. Now this is where outdoorsman comes in really handy, because you're less likely to be affected by the weather. Whereas if you don't have that trait, it's very likely to you get where you're likely to catch a cold. And obviously if you've got to catch a cold, if you've caught a cold, you cough, you sneeze, you attract zombies. But throughout this playthrough today, I have not seen a single one. Which I have to say is very unusual. I'm slowly getting there with my mechanics. Let's see what else can we do. Right, so let's grab the jack and a single lug wrench because I don't want both of them. Let's see if we can actually uninstall the tyre. Push our luck a bit. So let's go for the front tyre. Let's uninstall it. Because actually, even though I've got a tyre pump inflating, deflating, it doesn't increase your mechanics at all. Right, so we are on 90.75. So uninstalling the tyre gives me nothing. Installing the tyre also gives me nothing. Fantastic, what a waste of time that is. I suppose the bulk of the work there is actually dealing with the suspension. Because once you've got past the tyre, you've got access to the suspension, you've got access to the brakes, you've got access to other bits and pieces, but they're well beyond the skill that I have at the moment. So let's have a look at one of these cars over there. I think this one's particularly knackered. Let's have a look, see what it says. Yeah, it's not too bad. The radio's in good nick. Let's uninstall that. At least I know if there's I can wear it away to get a decent radio from if I wanted to. Battery's in good nick as well. Let's go for the lights. Just bung them back in and hopefully that's getting us closer. It's not giving us anything. Look at that. Not actually giving us any advantages whatsoever. There's like a cooldown on it. Thoroughly disappointing. Right, well, that's disappointing. Like you say, you can perhaps do it once a day. A lot of tree branches. Sorry, I've gone miles away from my foraging. Right then, haven't caught anything in our new box traps yet. More trees. Don't need trees. Let's go check on our sticky traps. Just going to eat one of my roasts here. One that cheers me up a bit, I think, that one. I've still got the lug wrench. Nothing in that stick trap, nothing in that stick trap. well, getting plenty of water in my water barrels. I'll go that way. And that is what the hell? Cologne! Mmm! Don't need cologne. Interesting thing to find. It's odd that I'm finding all the rare stuff all of a sudden as well. It's like berries and this, that and the other, but no mushrooms. It's like... borderline suspicious. I am depressed, which is bad. Getting a tad weepy. Oh, hello. Ah, frogs. Now, this is interesting. This is new. To me, anyway. If you actually take the frog, you can actually slice the frog with a knife, and you get frog meat from it. Yeah, just say it as it is, Super Tone. Say to me I stink and I need to... yeah, I have a a very strong fragrance around me. An undesirable fragrance. Is that what you're saying, Super Tone? Oh! Oh! It's actually a zombie! Where did you come from? Yeah. Oh, he's got a screwdriver. We'll have that. Actually, just something I want to try out. Tailoring. Let's rip. $3.25. Now, I think you actually need a pair of settings. Yeah, well, the zombies are staying away from me, so that kind of suggests that they think I stink as well. In fact, if the zombies are objecting, that can't be good. You know, I must really, really read. We would have thought that would make it easier to find. Ripping up sheets definitely, or ripping up clothing gives you thread. Which is useful. Hello, hello, hello. What's this? This is berries again. Is it good berries or bad berries? It's good berries. Let's eat those. They cure thirst, but not a lot of anything else. But they're slowly going off, which is why I'm eating those ones and not ones that say fresh. What annoys me is you can't run doing this. Yeah, I've got berries for days. It's unreal, isn't it? It's just so weird that the emphasis has shifted from all I could find was mushrooms, and now all I seem to be able to find is berries. Just seems odd. There's no sort of happy medium, if you see what I mean. It's like you might find a few berries, you might find a few mushrooms. No, that's asking too much apparently. Oh, grasshopper. So it's going to take me ages to fulfill my foraging. Oh, bloody hell, that's a long way away. Look at that. Logs, don't need logs. Hang on, wait a minute, I'm bleeding. Scratched bleeding, when the hell did that happen? Have my shoes disintegrated? It looks ridiculously like I'm not wearing shoes anymore. That's interesting. Where have my boots gone? Let's put those on quickly, that'll protect my feet. That's disturbing. Question is how long I've been walking around without shoes on. Still nothing in with stick traps. Hey, potatoes! Seeds as well, that's useful. Ah, it's just weird. Because I'm not seeing my boots anywhere. They're not in my inventory at all. That's just weird. I don't really need fish. And I've found a load of twigs and stuff. Yay. Have a look over here. Turn the thingy on. Make sure I'm in actually the area where I can actually forage stuff. Oh, more twigs. I'm almost halfway through. 6,000. 2,900. Need to get myself into a place where I can get lots of food and then go get that. I think I've probably got enough. Next week I'll dive out and find that stove. That's going to be interesting. Alright, so actually that's done pretty well this week. Cooking's almost ready to go up. Let's actually create from random meat. Random meat meaning frog meat. There we go, let's do that. Let's see what we get from there. So we now have that uncooked. Let's add. We go stand over by the fridge. So at the moment that's a unhappiness 5. So if we add a random fish, it's now minus 10. If we add the potato, Yeah, I've got a tea towel somewhere. So that's now minus 15. Now I think if I add more food to it, then that's just going to go bad. So if we just add salt as a spice, that should become 17. There we go. So it's really, so I think if I add any more fish or any more meat to it, it's just going to go, it's going to go down. So I think 17 is the max. So let's give that a go. Let's just do a quick bit of experimentation. So if I've added 2 lots of meat, so I think you can add 2 pieces of fish to get up to 10, and a vegetable. So I've got 2 different types of meat. I think if you just add 2 pieces of fish, that might work. I've added a spice. Can I add a condiment? Random condiment. Let's try that. We've added a condiment, which is in this case is honey, and it's gone up to 22. Cool. So there we go. Once I cook that, not only will it relieve 45 of my hunger, 6 of my thirst, 2 off my boredom, and 22 off of my unhappiness. Yeah. So can I add? So I've got like 3 meats. I've got 2 meats, a vegetable, a condiment. What if I add another meat to it, Supertone? Haha! Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining, Joe. Yeah, we're working on cooking and sort of like trying to work it out a bit, see what we can do. So I've got meat, veg, honey. So if I add another meat, if I add another random fish, because at the moment the happiness level of this is 22. If I add another meat to it, if I go with another random fish, I'm expecting that to go down. If it goes up, then that's fine. But I'm expecting it to go down, which is okay. And it stayed the same. Okay, right, fine. So it's neither gone up nor down, so that's fine. But it's overall, it's a very nutritious meal. That's going to really fill me up because it's now a hunger of 56, a thirst of minus 6, and a boredom of minus 2, and an unhappiness of 22, which is great because that's really going to help with depression. Because one of the problems that I've started, and that's what this is mostly about, is the cooking. It's your path to happiness and avoiding depression as much as you possibly can, but it means being able to cook and be able to cook well, which is something I'm not very good at in this game, let's face it. But here we go. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Joe. Welcome to Savvy Gadgets. Streaming out on this wonderful December 26th Boxing Day. Let's bung that on there. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year, dude. Like I say, thanks for joining the chat. Welcome to the channel. What was I doing? Twigs. That's what I need. Not add fuel. I need to light. I think my lighter's gone as well. How weird is that? My lighter must have bought the farm, and so must have my boots. Not sure quite what's going on there, but I do have a spare lighter. Somewhere, he says. There it is. Got 2 of them, actually. Yeah, I've been holidaying since the 26th. There's my military boots. I must have accidentally put them in. Which means what happened to my lighter? Where did my lighter go? It's just bizarre. Randomly got rid of my lighter somewhere. Light the fire. Plugs the lighter, there we go. twigs there. On the floor, not on the fire. I'm not entirely sure it's a good idea to have twigs standing or where I'm standing just in case the flames jump. Right, so that's quite nice. I mean, there's some decent food there. I've got some unhappiness here. Let's eat that. That's from the other day. Whilst that's cooking on there, I can quickly go fill that one up. A couple of pieces of meat. That should do the job. So if we just eat that. Should help relieve some of my depression. Create a roast from fish. Not from the grasshopper. Add fish again. It's not really doing anything for me. Vegetables. That should improve things a bit. There we go. That's now minus 10. Stand over here. Let's add pepper as a spice. And then add a random condiment. Just to get the most out of it. That's 17. That's pretty good. Go back to the fire. Put that on there. This one should be almost ready to grab. There it goes. That's fantastic. So that's our super meal of 22 unhappiness. Let's put it in our backpack. But it's like, it's just, if you've got a bowl and you've got mushrooms and you just create a mushroom salad, that also alleviates your unhappiness quite a lot. But it doesn't work with a fruit salad. So if you create a fruit salad from berries and that, although you've got a nice fruit salad, oh, that gives you unhappiness. Before the other day, that wasn't giving me any unhappiness at all. So at least if that's a thing. I guess it might have been because it's from fresh berry rather than a not fresh berry. Maybe that's the difference. As long as you're cooking fresh food, you're going to help your unhappiness a fair bit. Because I'm very depressed. Ravaged with morning depression. I think there's only one cure at this point, and that's to take a pill. No, last resort. Yes, I was on holiday on the 16th. I've been doing some live streaming. I don't know. It's actually one of the negative traits. You can actually, when you build characters, build in smoking as a negative trait so that you get more points to spend on positive traits. I'll actually take a look at that before we finish. Because it's almost 3 o'clock. I've been at this for 2 hours. I usually only do an hour and a half. But as you've joined Joe, you know, I've sort of like carried it on a bit longer. Because it's like, if someone joins at sort of like 2:30, then I will carry on a little bit longer. Add some value to the stream and all of that. Right, so let's get that out. So yeah, right, let's quit out to the desktop from there. Actually getting loads of water here. This is really good. Let's drink that. Right, so let's quit out. Let's take a look at this. Because this is one of the things that sort of like, if you do solo, it doesn't matter, custom sandbox, next. Don't care. Next, don't care. Right, so out of all of the traits, I always usually go for outdoorsman. It's a given. It's going to rain. Outdoorsman just works. Otherwise, you're going to be wandering around carrying an umbrella. That's the only way to keep yourself dry. As Supertone says, if you've got towels and things like that, you can dry yourself quiet on them and keep yourself going for a bit longer. But at the end of the day, Outdoorsman has that kind of effect because you're more rugged, you're more acclimatised to the weather. But one of the negative traits is Smoker. So there it is, Smoker. It gives you +4. So if I do that, I've now got the negative trait, which means stress and unhappiness decreases after smoking tobacco. Unhappiness rises when tobacco is not smoked. So it's one of those ones. It's like a case of it's an either or, and you do find cigarettes around, and that is a new thing in the game. Yeah, I I suppose it could do. Alleviate stress, but then is it a case of it's kind of like, so I've actually got a setup here which I use in general, so it gives me all of the positive traits. So thick-skinned, low thirst, light eater, inconspicuous, outdoorsman, and wakeful. Sometimes I remove out wakeful and slow reader, but as I generally end up underweight anyway, I've put that as a negative. Yeah, right. So the tip there is one of the problems is, and this is a story that I've told before on my channel, but it was like it was the start of the month, actually. It was the beginning of December. I was actually on the Indie Stone Project Zomboid chat on Discord, and some guy had literally just bought the game and had downloaded it, and he was going, yeah, I'm really excited to play it. And he actually, as soon as he started live streaming on Discord. So I checked in on him just to see how he was doing, and he went straight in at survival, straight for survival mode, and he lasted 3 or 4 hours, like you say. First fight with a zombie took chunks out of him, became infected, didn't know how to bandage himself or treat the wounds or anything like that, and died, and kept dying. And it was a rinse and repeat of that scenario. And then he came back onto the Discord chat saying how crap the game was and this, that, and the other. And it was literally disheartening because he jumped straight in at like one of the sort of harder modes, instead of going for builder mode, which is what I'm playing on, and it's still challenging enough. So Apocalypse is much more of a sneaky affair. You can fight, but the fighting is a lot harder. Survivor is, again, combat's quite hard. The zombies are reasonably tough, whereas I'm on builder and it's more of a focused on construction. And it's a much more relaxed gaming experience, as it says in the description. Or you can do custom sandbox. Now, I do have some custom sandboxes and where I experiment with things, and it is a case of it is just easy. Because in the sandbox, I've made it so the zombies are weak, the player's really strong. If they so much as walk a couple of steps or run a couple of steps, they're instantly the best sprinter in the world, that kind of thing. So there are ways of doing it, and there are ways to make your life easier, and so you can actually learn the game and then move up to a harder level. Yeah, and it's the thing about Project Zomboid, and the thing that I always say about Project Zomboid. In fact, Slay J asked me last week on the live. And he basically said, what's the best game, in my opinion, for a zombie apocalypse? And I said, well, you're looking at it, it's Project Zomboid. There are some really good ones out there, and I've played most of them, but Project Zomboid is by far the most sort of like in-depth, and that's the problem, it's in-depth. You have to, it's not like your common sort of PlayStation zombie apocalypse game where you press E to heal. And as long as you've got a bandage in your inventory, it will heal and bandage the wound. In this game, you actually have to go into the health panel, click on the wound. So I want to bandage that wound. I want to bandage this wound, and it's like you have to go and create improvised bandages off of zombie clothes and that kind of thing. That's what makes the game great, but also makes the game difficult for new people. It's the depth of it, which makes it great and makes it hard at the same time, really. So, so yeah, I mean, other games that I've been playing, I've actually been streaming this month just to Twitch. So remember, get out if you haven't followed me on. If you follow me on YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitch as well. But I've been playing Days Gone, which is a PlayStation port to PC. Yeah, it's like I also played Dying Light. I enjoyed Dying Light up until the very end, because it just basically and I did do a video on this because it annoyed me so much. You basically build Dying Light. It's a great game. You know, really enjoyed playing it. Quite a really nice open world. There's lots of crafting in it and building up of skills, and then you get to the end. Spoiler alert, by the way. You get to the end to fight the final guy, a guy named Rias, I think his name was, and it boils down to a quick time event. I really hated that because it's like you spent time and effort building up skills and crafting and this and that for it to finish on quick time events. It's like, are you kidding me, right? So, Dying Light 2 is coming out. I've also really enjoyed playing and I have done videos for State of Decay 2. That had a recent update for the holidays, I think, and they've changed the way the plague hearts work. So the plague hearts actually own the properties around them, so that you can't own them. You have to clear out the plague heart first. And it's interesting that State of Decay, I think, introduced this idea of having a nest for zombies, which then ported into Days Gone, whereas they have zombie nests. So it's like this is like what's the word I'm looking for? So like it's like a sort of like an integration of an idea as lore, zombie lore, if you see what I mean. Yeah. Dying Light was a great game. The ending sucked. It really ruined it for me. Well, indeed, I absolutely loved the crafting, and I loved the fighting, and I loved because what I really, really, really liked about Dying Light was the parkour stuff. I mean, I really liked the Mirror's Edge games. I loved those, and you know, this was an amalgamation of some of my favourite genres. It's like it had the parkour, and it's the zombie apocalypse. It's like, and then they ruined it at the very end. It was like, you bastards, you know. It's like, but yeah, check that video out if you can find it. It's among my videos. It did annoy me. It's like the only game that's annoyed me enough to do a video on it. But yeah, so there we go. I think that brings us to a nice conclusion, to be honest. Next week. The description, the Twitch links are in the description below on all of my videos, all my live videos anyway. But I'm actually known as Ven_UK on Twitch. So yeah. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Go to Twitch. But yeah, all the links are in the description. So there we go. Twitch TV, and it's got the Savvy Gadgetz logo. Ven UK. Ven_UK. I might change that to Savvy Gadgetz at some point. I think I can. I think I've got the option to do that as display name. So it might be Savvy Gadgetz with a Z. There we go. Let's try that. You may not change your display name, only the capitalisation of it. Oh well, there you go. That's the end of that one. So yeah, Ven UK. That's it. But yeah, so there we go. But as I say, description, the link is in the description, along with links to the Patreon, links to not YouTube, because I think it streams out to YouTube, plus Facebook and Twitter. Because if I find something unusual while I'm playing, I'll post pictures on Facebook and Twitter for it. But yeah, so next week, or during the week, next Sunday, I'm hoping to have enough skill in electronics and mechanics to yeah. It's just one of those things. It's like Twitch is slightly different. I want to change the display name, but it's like, no, you can't. Nice one. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Don't forget to share the Savvy Gadgetz love, and there's links to Patreon in there. You don't have to donate. I'm not looking for donations, but if you do really feel the need, please do. Looking for sponsors from these guys, if we can. Red Bull. But yeah, thanks for that, guys. Thanks for joining this week. It's like every week I stream out at 1 o'clock GMT. I'm doing Project Zomboid at the moment. I might try and do some Twitch stuff as well during the week, for which I'll probably be doing Days Gone. I'm toying with the idea of doing some State of Decay as well, because I haven't played that in ages, and they've updated some bits, and I want to check those out. But next week with this, what I want to do is I want to try and get some videos. I've been dying to go to the penitentiary just to see what that's like. And it might be I'll get to the entrance, see how many zombies there are, and then run for it. It's going to need a good stock of spears for that, I think. Plus, I want to see if I can try and get some of those other vehicles. But I need to build up my mechanics and my electronic skills so I can hotwire the cars. Anyway, that's 2 and a bit hours. Thank you for joining, guys. Much appreciated for coming on to chat and saying hello. But that's the end of today's live stream. As always, if you have any questions, let me know on the video. Drop some questions in on the on YouTube, or comments on YouTube, and I can then answer them. Like, subscribe, share, follow, which you have done, so thank you very much. But until next Sunday, or if you catch me on Twitch, thank you very much. I'll see you next week, and if I don't see you, Happy New Year. So, thank you very much, and bye-bye.